Hello, this is Jonathan, and in this video, I'm going to share with you the 5 things that you must get right to have a highly performing website, a website that works for you. And this is applicable for you whether you are new, starting up, you haven't yet got a website, or maybe you've got a website and you don't feel it's working for you. So I'm going to take you through those 5 key things that you have to get right, the things that you really need to focus on. But before I get into those 5 points, let's answer the question about, do you need a website? I've heard it said that we don't need to have a website. You do need a website. And there are many reasons for that. The first 2 reasons that you need a website are, first of all, how people find you. So you want to attract the right kind of clients to you, clients who want your services, who are looking for what you do, and they will find you by Googling you or another search engine. They'll find you by searching for you. They'll see you in the listings. You need to list high on Google My Business, on the wider Google rankings. And one of the first things they'll then look for is, do you have a website? So if I Google hypnotherapists in my area and I see somebody on that list and they haven't got a website, what does that say to me? That says to me, this is not a serious practice. It's not a serious business. This person isn't established. Even worse, if they've not got a website and they haven't got any reviews. So you need a website for that reason. The other reason is that it's all about getting people to know you, like you, and trust you. So before somebody makes an appointment before you, they probably want to speak to you. Maybe want to see you. They certainly want to find out more about you. They're not going to find that out by something you've posted on social media. People want to go and look at your website and know more about you, about what you do, about how you can help them, about how it works. So you absolutely need a website, whether you're brand new or whether you've been going a long time. It's absolutely vital. So having established that you need a website, what are the 5 things you've got to get right in that website? Because a bad website isn't going to help you a great deal to make people like you, know you, and trust you. So the first thing you've got to get right is the look and feel. Your site needs to look and feel professional. It needs to feel, doesn't need to be perfect, but it needs to feel clean. It needs to feel welcoming. You need to think quite a lot about the colors of it. Are they the kind of colors that are appropriate for a therapy business? And the images that you've got, it's really important. I've said this many times before. It's really important you have good professional images of yourself. You're not trying to look perfect. You're not trying to look unattainable, but you need to look professional. You need to look at your normal best. Okay, so you need to have good quality photos on there and make it look like you look professional, but you're making an effort. People are trusting in you. They don't want to think that this is some amateur thing that you have knocked together on the fly. They want to see that you are a professional person, because that instant impression is important in every aspect of life. So if people go onto your site, you don't look good, your site doesn't look good, it's an impression of you, and they're probably not going to go any further. So your website needs to be looking and feeling good, giving off a right impression to people. The second part about that look and feel is you need to make sure that this works across not just a desktop, but it works well on mobile and it works well on tablets as well. So depending on which data you read, something like 60 to 70% of time that people spend online these days is on their phone. It's on one of these things. So if you are having a website, and I see it all the time, you need to make sure that it's designed for all those mediums, and you need to make sure it's well tested on all of those, because quite often people will review their website, test it looking at the desktop version on their laptop, and actually things aren't coming up quite the same on the tablet or on their mobile device. So it's really, really important to get that right, because again, if that isn't right, you are going to lose people. You're going to look unprofessional. People are going to switch off before they get to the next stage of wanting to work with you. So it needs to look and feel good. It needs to work on all platforms, and the flow needs to be good as well. So the flow for you, I will talk through in a moment. So the second thing you need to do to make people know you, like you, trust you, want to go further with you, is you need to tell your story. I talk about this on my other videos, the Hollywood film formula that I use to help you tell your authentic, compelling story that will draw your ideal clients towards you, feeling comfortable with you, wanting to go to that next stage with you. So you need to tell your story, the story about who you are, where you came from, why you do what you do today, making yourself relatable, relating to your ideal client and their situation, their issues, what they've been through, getting people to emotionally buy into you. Now, you don't have to tell all of your story. I talk about this in much more detail in other videos, but you need to tell enough of your story to make yourself a little bit vulnerable, to make yourself approachable, and to draw the right people to you who maybe had that shared life experience that you yourself have been through. You also need to use your story to get across what makes you different. What makes you different? Because what somebody wants can be different for lots of people. It's quite an intangible thing. But by you making out what makes you different, being your authentic self, that will push away the wrong people and draw towards you the right kind of clients. So be yourself. Celebrate your difference, your uniqueness. So the third thing you really need to be aware of, and this is something that lots of people overlook, most people who are hypnotherapists, most kind of regular people who are building a site or getting a site built for them, won't even think about this. And in fact, there are a lot of people out there developing websites who don't do this stuff, who don't understand it, because it becomes so easy to develop a website. A lot of people don't really have the technical skills to get some of these nuances right. But here it is, your site needs to perform well technically. What do I mean by that? What I mean is your site needs to load quickly. It needs to load quickly, not just for the experience of the customer. People don't want to be watching that wheel of death, but also because that significantly impacts how Google sees you. If your site loads slowly, Google will push you down their rankings. They will push you down their rankings if you do not have a site which performs well. It's a key factor in Google search. So you need to make sure that you've got a website that performs. And this means that you need to make sure that you are using someone to develop your site who is genuinely capable, competent, and you need to make sure it's on a hosting platform of a very credible provider. Really be very, very wary of going to cheap service providers. I'm not saying they're necessarily all bad, but you're staking your business on this. You need a service provider who is respected, is seen well by Google. Okay, so don't skimp on your hosting. Get a good quality provider as well as a really credible developer who understands this stuff. And similarly around the performance, you need to be thinking about your images. I've said you need to get good quality images, maybe videos as well, some videos on your website. But again, people make this mistake time and time again. They have images on there that the file size is so big. I'm sorry, I'm getting really technical here, but these things, again, slow your site down. They make it hard to use, hard to navigate. And again, Google will mark you down. So really, you need to make sure that those technical aspects are really in hand. So make sure you've got somebody who is dealing with those things, because I've seen it time and time again with clients coming to me who've got photos that are slowing their website down Really, really simple. Their developer, their support person should know that, but they don't. Okay, so you need to absolutely get that right. Make sure your site is performance. That will help you with your ranking as well as the experience for people. So have a look at that. So if you've got a website where you can't understand why it isn't ranking well, maybe you've got lots of reviews and your keywords are good, look at the performance. It could well be an aspect of what's dragging you down. So let's talk about the flow then. So number 4 is really about the flow of your website. So your website needs to flow logically. It needs to start off with your homepage, which says how you can help people, what you do, how you help them, take them through that when they land, buying them in, getting them bought in, hooking them in quickly to understand that you understand their problem, you have solutions, you can help them. And the second part that you need to go to, the second page that you should have, is your story about you. Because once people have seen your first page, your homepage, they understand who you are, a little bit about who you are, what you do, what areas you specialize in, how you can help them. Then they're either going to want to go to know more about you. So you should have a page about your story. And then they're going to want to know about your specialisms. So you should have a page each for your core specialisms. And then you may want to have other pages, because for what we do, it is actually important to have content on your website. Content, again, gives you credibility with Google from a search perspective. If your website is too thin, Google looks at it and says, this is not good quality content. So you may be having FAQ questions, FAQ page, testimonial pages. You need to have good quality content that informs, that educates, that gives confidence to your clients. But you also need to be making sure that throughout your website, you are giving people the option to contact you. And as I talk about more in detail on other videos, that should be an automated way of booking to get them into your diary, to get them on there fairly quickly. So I use Calendly. Again, I don't get anything for promoting Calendly. I'm not promoting it. I'm just saying it's a platform that works. It's a really, really good platform that works. It's easy. It'll integrate easily with your website. It'll allow you to book people into your calendar. And when you're looking to book people into your calendar, time is really, really quite critical with this. Obviously, you're unlikely to be, or even if you are available, you don't want to be making yourself available immediately for people. No one feels good about a therapist who's available instantly, but you want to be having some time slots available within a few days. Otherwise, people may go elsewhere or they may lose interest. So have a window within the next week of availability that you've got, where people can come and talk to you, ideally getting them online if you can, so you can get that face-to-face dialogue where you can really get to know each other. So you need to get them into you, get them into your calendar, get them onto a call where you can then use the discovery call process that I teach elsewhere, or your own process, to turn that conversation into a client who feels comfortable, who knows you can help them, and is ready to buy from you. So I hope you found that useful. The 5 things that you must do to get your website working for you. And remember, you do need a website for the reasons I outlined. You need your website to look and feel professional. You need to tell your story. You need to have the flow of your website working well with good content. And finally, number 5, you need to be making it easy but natural where it's placed in your website. Links, that will get people booked onto your calendar to go to the next level and have that discovery call, strategy call, whatever you like to call it. So thanks for listening, and I will see you in the next video very, very soon.